Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A dream is not something you wake up from. It's something that wakes you up. I'm Tushar, and I thank you all for giving me the opportunity to come today and share my experiences and my journeys and travels. You know, I come from a traditional Agarwal family where I was conditioned to grow up and, take care of the family business. I was the only son among 7 sisters, so it was quite obvious what I was supposed to do when I grow up. I was very clear what I have to do when I grow up. I told my friends, my life is set. I'll grow up, I'll go and sit in my dad's factory, and I'll be fine. While I was planning all this, I think life was secretly laughing at my plans, because once I completed my school, I went to college, the family business started going down. When I was in school, I used to drive a really nice imported Honda Civic. But when I reached college, I started taking the local Mudrika Seva to my college because there was nothing else for me to do. So I didn't know what to do. I joined a computer course just for the fun of it, and I started working. I got my first job for 1,500 rupees a month. I was not prepared for that. I never thought I'd be working or doing a regular 9-to-5 job. But here I was. I started working in India for a few years. Then I became quite good at my IT programming skills. My company sent me to Japan. Later I went to US, worked there for a few months, and then I moved to UK, where I stayed for the last 7 years of my life. So how did I get into traveling? When I was a kid, I used to go to the mountains a lot with my parents, but I was really, really scared of the heights. I hated going in the mountains. I remember hiding in my mother's lap and telling her that, please wake me up when we go down in the plains. I can't look at the mountains. What I didn't know was that mountains would become my second home later on when I grew up. So I got a lot of opportunities to travel as a kid, but it was really when I moved to US that my actual affair with the road started. I bought a second-hand Mitsubishi Eclipse 2-door white color car for $800, and I didn't have many friends there, but the road became a worthy companion for me. I started driving on the silky freeways of US and loved it. After around 8 months, I moved to UK, bought another second-hand car, and started traveling Europe, UK, and just loved it. There were so many drives I went on, but there's just this one particular drive I fondly remember. I was driving from London to a place called John O'Groats in Scotland. It is the northernmost tip of the UK island. And while I was on this journey, a silly thought came to me. I thought, it would be fantastic if I could drive from London to Delhi. I was going with my friends and family, but I didn't tell them about my idea. I secretly smiled and I thought, okay, let me go back to London and then I'll look at the maps. So I went back to London, I was sitting at office, getting bored. I thought, okay, let's look at the map. So I opened Google Maps and just drew an imaginary line from London to India. The route looked like going from Western Europe, Eastern Europe, Turkey, Iran, Pakistan and India. I got really excited. I went home and I told my family, you know what, I'm going to drive from London to Delhi. How did they react? They just laughed at me. I didn't blame them. You know, there's a pattern with me which I knew, that I would get excited about a certain idea, get completely obsessed with it, and after some time forget about it. I remember when I saw Abhinav Bindra winning a medal at shooting in, I think in the Olympics a few years back. I got so inspired, I thought, okay, let me do the same thing. So I joined a shooting club in London. I went there religiously for 6 months, lost interest. Then I thought, okay, let me play billiards. I joined a billiards club, bought a really nice expensive cue, again I lost interest. I even joined a flying club, and I started flying. I flew for around 15 hours, lost interest. So ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at a half pilot who knows how to take off, doesn't know how to land. So if you see me sitting in the pilot seat someday, please don't board that flight. So, you know, given this history, I really thought that maybe London-Delhi by road idea is also one of those ideas which will dominate my mind for a few months, then I'll forget about it. I'm so glad that that didn't happen. I made a promise to myself that I'll continue researching on this idea for 6 months, and if after 6 months I'm still as excited as I was on day 1, then there'll be no looking back. So I went on doing research. There wasn't much information available online because nobody had done a crazy trip like this before. I thought, where do I start from? I thought, okay, I looked at the route and I thought, let me call the Pakistan embassy and ask them about the permits. So I called the Pakistan embassy and I said, you know what, I want to drive from Pakistan. They said, which country are you from? I said, India. They said, sorry, not allowed. I said, why not? They said, you're from India, you're banned to drive in Pakistan. I insisted, why not? He just put the phone down on me. I hit the wall. I didn't know what to do. So what I realized was that, when you're planning such a big epic journey, there's so many things, so many roadblocks and obstacles that come your way. But if you're really determined and if you're madly, crazily, desperately obsessed with an idea, then the only thing that can stop you from achieving your dream is nobody else but you. Because there is always a solution. I was not ready to give up. I thought I'll make another route. So I designed another route where, so instead of going from Pakistan, why to go above from China. So let me just open the route, and I think that will be a little more clearer for everyone. I thought I'd drive from London to France, Belgium, Czech Republic, Germany, Poland, Ukraine, Russia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, China, Tibet, Nepal, and India. A crazy idea, a lot of different unexplored terrains, something that when I told my friends about, they said, "You've gone mad." So basically, to do a trip like this, you have to be a little mad, otherwise you can't do something like this. But I was determined that I have to do this. And my friends and family used to come and say, what if your car breaks down? What if you fall ill? What if somebody steals your luggage? What if you get kidnapped? There were a lot of reasons. I think on a journey like this, there are a lot of reasons not to do a trip like this, and very few reasons to do a trip like this. For me, the only reason why I wanted to do this trip was because this was something that I really felt very close to my heart, something which I thought will really make me happy. It was my dream. It was not something that I had to do. It was something I really, really wanted to do just for myself. I wasn't required to do this, but something that I thought would be the biggest achievement of my life, and that was enough for me to pursue it. And I started planning, researching. I contacted all 15 countries like Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, got their details, regulations, permits, routes, and finally I had a route. And when you mention countries like Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, normally people get scared and they think, how can you drive through countries like this? What I realized is that, everyone is wrong about foreign countries. You haven't gone there, you're giving an opinion about the country. I think you really need to go to a certain country to really form your own opinion. I would like to just mention a quote here. It says that if you reject the food, if you ignore the customs, if you avoid the people, and if you fear the religion, you might better stay at home. Because when you're going to countries like these, you really have to embrace their culture, meet the people, interact with them. That's where you make the memories. It's always the unplanned things in your journey that you will remember, rather than the planned things. If you ask me, I cannot tell you the name of a single monument I visited on this journey, but I can still tell you conversations I had with the local people in all of these countries. The emotions I shared, the pain that I saw, I still remember all of that. There are so many things I can talk about this trip. Can't forget that experience. Then I moved to Kyrgyzstan. Now Kyrgyzstan is a really tiny country, somewhere over here on the border with China. And while I was about to approach Kyrgyzstan, civil riots broke out in Kyrgyzstan. The president of Kyrgyzstan had left the country. He was in hiding somewhere in Russia. The city Osh, where I was supposed to go, was burning. People were getting killed every day. The border got closed. I had to wait at the border for a few days, and then I finally was allowed to enter. But that was the only country where I had to hire 2 escort vehicles, one in the front, one in the back, to just get me a safe passage out of the country. I reached the Kyrgyzstan-China border, and this was the day which was the most memorable day for me, because I started driving on a glacier at 17,500 feet at 5 in the morning. I kept driving for 5 hours, and there was nothing inside. For 5 hours, I didn't see a single car or a truck or a person, an animal, bird, nothing. It was pure white snow in all directions, and just this, I remember this faint orange light cracking from the sunlight of the sun coming out in the morning. That was the only thing I could see there. And I'm thinking, wow, this is paradise. It can't get better than this. Probably this is where artists come and look at the scenery and start painting. I was just so happy there. And suddenly my happiness turned into a nightmare. Why? My car broke down. My car broke down, it got stuck in snow. The wipers broke, the gearbox broke, the heater stopped working, and I was there. But the highway boys were looking out for me. Just out of nowhere, where in an area where for 5 hours I couldn't see anybody, a truck approached. Within 5 minutes when my car broke down. It was I think minus 10 degrees there. And the truck came, they got out, in 5 minutes they pulled my car out of the snow. I was again on my way. So, that's what I feel, that, every problem always comes with a solution. And if you can keep a positive mind, calm down, and because a situation like that was not in my hands. All I could do was sit and wait, and of course pray. And suddenly I got help. I moved on and I entered China. So I'll just play some pictures here while I'm talking. So we share the same passion, the same dreams, and the same goals in life. All we want to do is travel. I had traded my IT career for a life on the road, and he had traded his family business for the same thing. We decided to start working together. We started a firm together, and we never discussed money. And I come from a business family, Agarwal family, so I should be quite good at money matters, but I think I'm a big disappointment for my family when it comes to that. Because for me, my passion for the road, my love for travel is what drives me. And so we decided to travel together. I'm really proud to say that, we became the first civilians to have ever gone to that road where no Indian or anybody in the world has ever gone before. That road was used for trade by local villagers before the India-China war, and till 12 in the afternoon, that particular point is under Indian administration. After 12, Chinese administration comes and takes over that road. In fact, if you're standing at that point, you're so close or so much into China, you can actually see Mount Kailash from there.